everyone, here is how I put together this collar for Henry's Easter bubble this year. Now I started with Creations by Michelle number 107, the square collar, but looking back I could have used my blocking board to build that pattern, but either way you'll need the neckline curve and the starting and stopping points in the back of a collar to begin. So I traced the square collar pattern onto a new piece of tissue paper. Now this paper, in case you're curious, I do get a couple questions on it. It's just medical paper off of Amazon. It is nothing special. It is cheap and easy and gets the job done, and I do have an affiliate link that I will put in the description box for y'all if you're interested. So I marked the seam allowance for the neckline, and I'm also looking at the proportions of the collar and eyeballing where I'd like the loop of the lace to start and stop. And you'll see as the video progresses that these are not hard lines. It's just an approximation of what I think would look nice. So nothing's set in stone at this point is what I'm trying to say. So I just go over my tissue pattern so I can transfer those marks. Oh, and all of these marks are made with a regular pin, nothing that is heat activated. So then I get this oh so yummy lace. It's got these delightful symmetric dots. It kind of just sparkles at you and makes me think a little bit of polka dots, but I think it's a great lace for both boys and girls. Anywho, I'm freehanding the start of shaping this lace to see how it wants to bend. So I start at the bottom of the loop and I take it up gradually, eyeballing as I go along and seeing how the lace wants to bend, just letting the lace kind of lead the way. And I continue around that loop, go over a little ways and repeat another loop so I make sure that the spacing between the loops looks about right. Now I take a heat activated pin and roughly trace half of the loop and that little section in between the two loops. From there I take a piece of paper and this lovely light tracing board. And just really quick, yes, I love this light tracing board. I've had it for about 6 months now and I would highly recommend it. And yes, there is an affiliate link down in the description box below if you are interested. Anywho, then I took a regular, not a heat activated pen, just a regular pen, and I used this French ruler to tidy up my freehand curves. I just put the ruler around my freehand curves until it looked close enough, and then I used the ruler to give a nice tidy curve. And I continued that process until I had this pattern here. And yes, I will make this pattern available on my Etsy site if you are interested. The link is down below. So I traced this loop pattern and I traced it onto my collar pattern. And when I'm done with that set of loops, then I use the previous loop that I've traced to realign my pattern so I continue to trace, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go around the collar in that manner. Sorry, Henry's playing in the background. And I only trace half of the loops with the pattern because then I just fold my tissue in half and then I, just use the symmetry to transfer those loops. It's a lot of transferring, I know, but now it is done so we can move on. Then I get my fabric and I lay it over the pattern piece, giving that an ironing, and then I pin it in place. I'm not stretching my fabric, I'm just smoothing it out so it lays flat, and then I pin it into place. And now it's the fun lace shaping part. I just pin my lace around following the curves, and the outside edge is going to line up with the curves. And then I do give a very gentle tug as I pin the lace in place. Then I grab just the top, that kind of wavy thread in the header, and this header contains more threads, but for lace shaping I find that it's too much trouble than it's worth to grab all of them. It's just not necessary in my humble opinion. Anywho, I gently pull on this thread and just like magic, your lace will lay down into place. Isn't that lovely? When your thread doesn't want to be pulled anymore, just stop and clip the same wavy thread from the header and give it a little snip. And this will let you pull from both ends so you can continue to shape the lace and pull everything so it lays nicely down into place. And once everything is laying nicely, then you'll transfer the pins so they are horizontal and not going through the shaping board, because you want people to remove your fabric from the board. And do not freak out at this point. It may look like a hot mess, at least mine often does, but it'll shape up. Just keep watching. So I used this iron glue stick. This stuff is seriously amazing. No residue on your fabric, lace, iron, and the holding power is really incredible. If you aren't picking up on it, I would highly recommend this stuff. But anywho, I used to hold the lace into place so I don't have to sew all around those pins. You know, when I take it to my machine, I'm not dealing with the pins in the way of, you know, the whole sewing process. Again, it may look like a hot mess, but everything is going to shape up here in a bit. Just keep going around with that glue pen and your iron until everything starts to lay flat. Oh, and I did use some of this water-soluble thread to give a basting stitch inside of those loops. So then I took a microcheck size 90 needle and some Madeira 80 weight white thread to do this hem stitch. And I'm still using this Bernita Artista 640, and on that it's stitch number 720. But check your manual for this little ladder symbol. I took some stitch in the ditch to use as stabilizer behind the fabric, and then I carefully go around the curves. And a seriously tired mama brain moment, I should not have stitch on the bottom of the lace, just the top of the curves and around the insides of those loops. And you'll see in a second that I'm going to undo all of those stitches. And if you're a little confused on why this was a mistake, I'll explain in a second. So I carefully tear the stitch in the ditch away, and then I cut around the bottom of the lace. And while there's nothing wrong with keeping the fabric behind the lace, seriously, there's nothing wrong with it. Personally, I think it just gives a little bit of shine, a little bit of a sparkle when you take the time to cut around it. So I'm going to remove that fabric, and this is why I should not have sewn the bottom of the curve into place. Now luckily it's something that can be undone. It just takes more energy and more time, but you know, I'm a mom of 2 little ones, so I have plenty of both of those. But at least it is fixable. So when I was all done with removing my fabric from behind the lace, here's how my collar looked. And doesn't it just sort of shine at you without the fabric? I mean, it is sewing, so you do you, but for me, it just makes my heart sing. Then I take this edging lace and I'm going to pull all 3 threads from the header as I gather it up. And when gathering anything, lace or fabric, I find that multiple threads help so much for keeping those gathers stabilized. Otherwise, they can go crooked on you and it becomes a hot mess in a hurry. So I gather up that lace and begin to sew it to my collar using a zigzag. And I don't have it pinned to my collar, and I find that it's easier just to gather and adjust those gathers as I sew. And yes, Henry was helping with his collar, this sweet little boy. Finally, I transferred those back marks and the neckline to the fabric, and then I cut out my fabric. And voila, here is Henry's Easter collar. Oh, and some people may find it helpful to use starch when working with lace. Now it does make your lace a bit stiffer and more stable, so give it a try if you're having some issues. Now I don't have anything against it, but honestly I skip it since it's just one more product to squeeze into my already shoebox of a house, and it does leave a bit of residue on your iron, but yes, you can clean it off alright. But you know, pros and cons, it can be a helpful tool to have if you're having some issues dealing with lace. So anywho, I hope this video wasn't too much of a hot mess and that it was still helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. And as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope to catch y'all next time. Bye.